Let's jump to this next story. It's the latest hoax, ladies and gentlemen. Animals. Trump ups rhetoric on illegal immigration. You see, Reuters is trying to be really careful because they're trying to adhere to their standard of ethics, but this year proves they're not, because it's not a story. The original headline for most of these articles was that Donald Trump called illegal immigrants animals. The only problem, he literally did not. And they were all fake news. Even Newsmax ran the fake headline. So now Reuters backtracking, probably because they don't want to get sued, but this is what Democrats are pushing. That at an event, Donald Trump said that immigrants were animals. What Donald Trump said was the murderers, people who, the guy who killed Laken Riley, are animals. And he goes, Democrats want me to call them humans. They're not humans, they're animals. He's talking about rapists and murderers and child sex traffickers, and he is intentionally trying to insult them and degrade them because they are evil people. The media rushes out to defend them. Take a look at this. If you Google search animals, Reuters, Trump calls migrants animals, intensifying focus on illegal immigration. Newsmax says Trump calls migrants animals in Michigan stop. None of which is true. Guess what? Newsmax changed the headline to Trump, migrant influx is country changing.
Wow.
How about that one? Reuters' original headline was Trump calls migrant animals, intensifying focus on illegal immigration. They actually might have that one. Yeah, Reuters kept that one. The Yahoo report one is it is also Reuters being posted by Yahoo, but a different headline there. This is the latest hoax. Now we have that video. I got to pull this video up. I'm sorry. I have to do it. And people are probably going to bust out laughing in their seats. And some people are going to be like, dear Lord, Tim, why did you make me watch that? But you got to watch it because this is how you know it's a cult. And all right. We might have to turn the volume down with this one because I'm just going to look at it. You can just tell by the guy's face.
I actually avoided watching it because of his face.
Can I just say to this guy, like my friend, my brother, please, you need to relax. You need to calm down. You need to do some research, Google search this stuff, and you will find peace. But volume warning.
Are you kidding me, law enforcement? Are you kidding me? Tonight in Grand Rapids, multiple law enforcement officers stood behind Donald Trump as he spoke. People that are elected officials like sheriffs, others hired to protect and enforce the law for the entire citizenry, not for a political party, explicitly forbidden from being a partisan authoritarian police force standing on stage, entirely unethical, probably illegal, on top of which Donald Trump has been indicted 91 times. He's liable for sexual assault. His entire business was found to be fraudulent. And law enforcement has the fucking gall to stand on stage with him. Enough is enough.
Okay, so the important thing here is you're allowed to be angry. I got no problem with someone going on a passionate, angry rant. Everybody does every so often. My issue here is this guy lives in a fictitious world. He lives in a false reality of hoaxes that are driving him insane. That anger you are seeing from this man screaming is one. First, police officers are allowed to stand next to politicians. It's not illegal. It is not unethical. They're allowed to do it. Sheriffs are elected officials. Yeah, they can stand next to whoever they want. In fact, sheriffs actually are part of political parties. Some are Republicans, some are Democrats, and you can vote for them as a Democrat or a Republican. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. He believes all of these hoaxes. And then I think the important thing to understand here is when he believes the lies about Trump's sexual assault and the fraudulent stuff, his entire business was found to be fraudulent. Yeah, no, not if you listen to the actual bank that lent him the money. A single judge banged a gavel in a summary judgment. So you can argue a single judge thinks that. I certainly don't think the people do. But then the important thing to understand is he goes on to make things up. Why is he mad? Because he fabricated in his mind that elected sheriffs can't stand next to political candidates. That's his point of rage. So it's possible he's grifting and he's feigning outrage, or it's possible this is the product of the media hoax machine. When they say Trump called illegal immigrants animals, don't be surprised if you get a video from like Politics Girl or Midas Touch. They already got it out probably. Or this guy going, Trump is calling human beings animals. This is what Hitler did. Ah!
But firstly, human beings are animals. We're part of just all of us. We're part of the animal kingdom. It's okay, and we're also human. Let's not try and separate ourselves from that.
It's kind of...
So Trump actually, you see, the context was he wasn't going, they're animals. He was like, illegal immigrants, like all humans, are actually part of the animal kingdom.
Thank you very much.
It's actually worse than just being a product of the media machine, I think. It's like, and Jimmy Dore's talked about this at length, is that these people, the Keith Olbermanns and the Jon Stewarts and this poor guy, like they, in the Jungian sense, they have a shadow about themselves that they do not want to acknowledge psychologically. So they see Trump and they call him an egomaniac. It's because they are the egomaniac. I mean, look at this guy. Look at Keith Olbermann. Look at Jon Stewart. They have these freakouts because there are aspects to themselves that they really don't want to be conscious of. And they see that in Trump. And this is what I see with every ishlib that I deal with, even family members and friends. Like, everything that they accuse Trump of, it's really something that's their problem personally. So maybe the corporate press machine, makes it worse, but I think that's a big part of it too.
And you talk about this animal hoax, all the hoaxes that are going on. If you look at the tweet cycle that comes up, it's the Biden-Harris HQ Twitter. It's been seen 5.7 million times, and it says Trump, Democrats said, please don't call immigrants animals. I said, no, they're not humans. They're animals. And the Team Trump quote tweets them and attaches the entire quote, which is, quote, the 22-year-old nursing student in Georgia who was barbarously murdered by an illegal alien animal. The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're animals. It's the same playbook. We've seen this 1,000 times. Yet that tweet by the Trump campaign has only been seen 130,000 times compared to the 6 million that the Biden's been seen by.
This already happened in 2018. The funny thing was when Trump said that these MS-13 gang members are not humans, they're animals. He's like, these cartel members, these gang members, they're not humans, they're animals. These are animals crossing our border. And they ran the same lie and said Trump calls migrants animals. The funny thing is at the time, Newsmax ran an op-ed calling out the media for taking Trump out of context. And then 6 years later, they take Trump out of context.
Wow. I would say, if any, just to steel man the opponent, the opposition, I guess, is that don't refer to people as not human, because they're still human, but they're just, maybe you can point people to the fact that they're engaging their bestial side, that their animal is overriding their logic or their reasoning.
I think perhaps we need to only calm down a little bit. I certainly think Trump understands he's literally talking about human beings. I think Trump is trying to insult rapists and murderers.
That is what Hitler did, is he dehumanized people. That's the concern, is that they don't want you to see you. And that's what Netanyahu did when he said I think they actually said they're human animals in Israel before they attacked. They called the Hamas or whoever human animals. So they were saying it's both.
I get what you're saying, but I think Trump is intentionally trying to insult people. It's not about dehumanizing. It's trying to look a guy in the eye and say, I'm insulting you. He's trying to insult rapists and murderers. I think there's a difference between like saying Hitler dehumanized everyday average people in Germany simply for being Jewish, and Trump called the guy who bashed a woman's face till it was disfigured because he couldn't rape her an animal. Like, there's a big difference there. You know what I mean?
I completely agree. And again, it's the same thing that happened with the bloodbath hoax too. President Trump was clearly talking about the auto manufacturing industry and what would happen if Biden gets reelected in November, specifically with his EV mandates. It's going to be a bloodbath for the American auto manufacturing industry. They take him out of context, they run with it, the media goes wild. It's the same thing, and we're going to be seeing the same thing happen 20, 30, 40, 50 times.
It's going to get real crazy in October. Like, no matter what Trump says, they're gonna twist it in some way. He's gonna say something like, we were driving in a car and light turned yellow. We sped up a little bit. We don't want to miss the light. It's like Trump admits to breaking law. Trump is criminal. Trump nearly kills child by rushing, and they're gonna just go nuts with it.
Have you guys seen it's a Hitler speech, but it's AI is doing his voice in English? And it's got his same emotions, and it's basically as if he was speaking English in fluid modern English.
And he actually says Trinidad Shabbat pressure.
He talks about how he sacrificed for the country, and he wants them to sacrifice for him now. And it's about the cult of him and his personality, how great he is. And Rogan was watching. He was like, it sounds like Trump. Like so. If you want to defeat your enemy in a culture where you have to understand your enemy, Tulsi Gabbard talks about understanding the enemy is the way to defeat the enemy. You've got to understand why people hate Trump. And there is something about the way he communicates about how great he is that is that reminds people of dictatorial demagoguery, which can lead to dangerous totalitarian cult worship.
And everything that you're saying can be used to describe the Democrats.
Sure,
100%.
Exactly. Yeah, but you got to understand that people do truly believe that, and see why they believe it.
So the issue is, if you were to take a regular person who was like from the year 2012, frozen in time, and they came to right now, and you said, which side are you on? They'd be like, if their concern was, I don't want to be supporting a demagogue, they'd probably be like, I'll take neither. If that was the only thing they knew. I think the real reason that people like this guy hate Donald Trump is because they live in a fictitious reality. I think when you actually know the truth, you're like, yeah, Trump can be criticized on a lot of things, but, it's not that bad. Then you take a look at what's going on with the prosecutions. How about this one? Donald Trump had classified documents on national security, and he's got to be indicted. And Hillary Clinton had 35,000 public records that were destroyed, that even after she was subpoenaed to turn them over, had them destroyed. And one of her staffers smashed phones with a hammer. And they're like, we're not going to arrest her. I'm like, okay. Matt Taibbi broke this down. There's a great tweet explaining Matt Taibbi explaining why he's not super concerned with Republicans. They do not have, and we talked about this too, back like 2018. Why don't you talk about Republicans more? They have no institutional power. They do not control Hollywood. They have one television channel. They don't have power in Congress. They're too fractured. There is zero threat from Republicans to anyone. Unfortunately, no threat to the Democratic political structure. There's no legislation that Republicans can't even do anything. I'm not worried about that. Meanwhile, Democrats are in this psychotic cult where the media marches in lockstep with them, tells poor guys like this insane nonsense till he goes insane, blue in the face, screaming on camera.
Well, think about this too, the Trump New York alleged hush money case. For example, President Trump has been trying, his legal team have been trying to get this Judge Juan Merchan, recused from the case, citing conflicts of interest. Merchan donated a small amount of money to the Biden campaign back in 2020, and his adult daughter, 34 years old, has been extensively reported by multiple people out there, including Julie Kelly, Laura Loomer. She's the president of this Democrat consulting firm, Authentic Campaigns, and she's done work with Kamala Harris, the Biden-Harris campaign, Adam Schiff, and she does work on campaigns. And the Trump team has argued that a potential conviction in this case could be used to financially benefit the daughter. And so Trump has made posts citing this on Truth Social. And then the judge comes out and slaps a gag order on Trump for potentially raising very real conflict of interest concerns about his daughter, which is inherently a conflict of interest right then and there. So you want to talk about Banana Republic stuff, that certainly is.
How's it normally work if you're in a case and then you feel the judge has a conflict of interest? You have your lawyer submit it to the bar?
You would have to ask the judge, you would have to cite reasons, I believe, of course, I'm not a lawyer, but you'd have to cite reasons why you believe the judge in the court could theoretically be impartial regarding the matter. And of course, they cited that the daughter could stand to financially benefit from a conviction of Trump since she works with Democrat candidates whose job it is to bash Trump and cite Trump. Like, Trump was convicted, he's this bad guy, even though he's done nothing wrong. It's the most frivolous case you could possibly imagine. But the judge wouldn't do it. He cited a New York ethics committee that came out and said that, well, the daughter, who is 34, whatever, and her firm are neither directly or indirectly involved, so she's going to have to stay on the case. And we have to keep in mind the trial starts April 15th as well. When you look at the media coverage, too, they only emphasize that Trump was attacking this daughter of the judge. The daughter's older than I am. And Democrats, especially mainstream media, entertainment, Democrat Congress members, they have no problems attacking Clarence Thomas for not the activities of himself, but the activities of his wife. Double standards left and right.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.